Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Latrell. I go by iloveyoutrell here on YouTube as well as all of my other social media platforms. But today we're gonna get into this space because you're probably looking at it like, girl, what the heck is going on here? And this is what I'm seeing people do. And I'm sure this is what we're striving for. So I'm not only going to show you like what's going on here, but I'm also going to show you how to achieve a very effortless, even professional grade makeup look while using the same products but just enhancing your technique. Alright guys, so we're going to jump into today's video, and as mentioned, we're going to be doing a video where we're going to be highlighting the beginner mistakes and how to make your makeup look flawless. We're going to start off with primer. Now, one of the things that I always see is that when applying primer, some people are very generous and some people are not adding enough product. So that will absolutely have an effect on how your makeup turns out. Literally using a pea-sized amount of product on, I think the right side is gonna be the right side. So your left. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna just apply this little dime size amount, right? Which is not enough product. This is what I see people doing. And like, I barely had enough to cover my face. Now I guess if you have like a pea-sized amount face, then like maybe that will work for you, but like realistically I only got to cover this area here, so I'm just like going in with whatever is left on my little fingers to kind of cover the rest of my canvas. On this side, I'm gonna do what you should be doing, which is more than a pea-sized amount, girl. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna do about 1, 2. I'm gonna do 2. Normally I do this for a whole face, but we're gonna just try to make sure it stays on this half. And the reason that primer is so important is because primer is gonna not only allow you to like maneuver your products, but it's gonna help with the longevity of your products. So if you find that your makeup is just not even staying throughout the day, this is something that you probably are skipping that you need to like, you know, make sure to do. I can feel the stickiness. This is a hydro grip, so you should feel that stickiness here. It's dry, it's sticky here, but it's not sticky everywhere, which means that there's not enough product. I'm going to apply brow gel to the right side and let this settle a little bit. It's a sticky product, very similar to the primer that we use, so it's gripping. It's going to need to like kind of set into place before you apply your product. And I'm not going to use any on this side, simply because that's not what I see everyone doing. I see people just going in bare naked brows. So that's what we got to do on this side. I'm using Spiked on this side because Spiked is a very recommended eyebrow pencil that I see people using, and it is a pretty dark, especially if your hair is not this dark. It's just dark. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna do what I see people doing. So I see people filling in their brows with a heavy hand. They are literally drawing in the eyebrow, and they're doing it on the top and the bottom. And it just is not very natural looking. So this is going to be, you know, again, very harsh because the color that I'm using is not one that is complementary to what my natural hair color is. And then I'm using a heavy hand on top of that. Like, why are you using a heavy hand? Relax, relax. I'm seeing people fill in their brows all the way to the front of their brow, but also again with a heavy hand. And as you guys can see, this is very blocky. This is given very much 2010 eyebrows. Like this is not what I think people are intending to go for. So on the other side, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna use Midnight Brown. And this is a lighter brown pencil that is more complementary because my hair is not that dark. So I'm gonna go ahead and lightly fill in the bottom. And when I say lightly, like I'm barely pressing this in. And when we get to the front, we're not even really gonna apply much product there. And then if you have, you know, spare spaces in between, go ahead and lightly fill that in. Now, what I'm gonna do when I get to the front is I'm gonna mimic my hair-like strokes and I'm gonna go up. And the reason you're gonna go up is because, like I just said, your hair-like strokes that are already there, as much as you might think you don't have no brows, there's something for you to work with, and they're going up, especially also because we used our brow gel to brush them up. So if they're not going up and they're going backwards, of course, you know, mimic what your front hairs are doing, but like, don't do this. Do not do this. Okay, so you can obviously see the difference, and if this brow is not opaque enough for you, if you want it to be a little bit darker, we're going to take it there. So another reason why you do not want to go super ham with your eyebrows is because when you apply your concealers, it's going to make it just that much more opaque and give it just that much more depth to the eyebrow. So on this side, I'm actually going to be using a concealer that is too light, and then on the right side, I'm going to be using a color that is more like my skin tone. All of this is obviously obviously your preference on how you want your makeup to look, girl. If this is what you're going for, then by all means, girl, go ahead, keep doing it. But I don't think that is the goal nowadays. I don't think that this is the intention, and not to say that there's anything wrong with this, but I do think that this makeup just comes off a little bit more harsh and a little bit more amateur. Amateur is the word we're going to use today, because there's just tips and techniques that are being applied on this side of the face that just are not the most flattering. I'm adding in this really light concealer underneath my brow, and then I am going to also go ahead and do it on the top. And this is no shade to people who still apply product to the top of their eyebrows, but the thing is, when it is too light, that's when we run into problems. All right, and so on this side of my face, I am using a color that is more natural, more skin tone colored, and just more appropriate for the kind of brow that we're going for. And we're gonna go all the way up to the front with this product, but we're also going to lightly blend it backwards because we don't want too much product to be focused in the front. We want this to look natural as possible so that it doesn't look artificial. Take this all the way down my eyelid and blend it all the way out. I'm not seeing everybody do that. That's why I left this how this is, because I'm not seeing that happen. And you can see later on in the rest of the makeup look how exactly that affects the actual, you know, makeup look as a whole. You can absolutely do the brow lining on top. And I actually am just gonna leave it as is because, again, I'm going for something a little more natural. But if you're doing a more like going out kind of makeup look, I would definitely go ahead and, you know, line the top up if you want to look just that much more clean. But again, use a color that is the right color, not too light. I'm gonna hop into foundation because this is one of the biggest parts of your makeup and how it's going to turn out is how you're applying your foundation. So today I'm gonna be going ahead to use a more fuller coverage foundation. It's not like super full coverage, but it's a little more on the thicker side because I want to demonstrate how not enough product makes your makeup look different. So on the left side, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna do like a slight pump like that, because I don't need too much of this. Okay, I'm lying. Let me do just a little more like that. That is what we're gonna do on the left side of our face, right? So we're gonna go ahead and we're going to dot it around. And this is literally like, I'm not even joking, y'all. This is what I'm seeing. So we're gonna go ahead and we're going to take a brush and I'm gonna go ahead and blend this out. And I'm seeing people do this in a sense of them listening to, you know, influencers and makeup, you know, personnel very much to the T, and they are not applying enough product. They're doing a dime size amount. And actually, okay, let me just do one more pump. Let me just do one little half a pump right here. Okay. And like I said, this foundation, the reason I chose this foundation is because it's like more fuller coverage. It's more than like my Pat McGrath foundation. So I'm seeing people do this and it's just not enough coverage. And not to say that there's anything wrong with this, but I'm sure when you're doing your makeup, you want it to look like something, right, girl? Right. This is just not enough foundation. As you guys can see, we can still see like that very light concealer, especially at the top, because we didn't have enough product to cover that. So now we're gonna go ahead to the right side. I'm gonna use 2 pumps, 2 generous pumps like that. And the reason I am using these generous pumps is because, again, you need to have enough product to cover your face. Like, people are doing this when there's not enough coverage, and you know, they're obviously not happy with the end result because it doesn't look like you got your makeup professionally done. And not to say that, you know, having a lighter foundation can't do that. But again, if you're going for a makeup look, girl, I'm thinking you're going for a makeup look. That's what I'm talking to you guys as. Is if you're doing some real makeup and you're like, oh, I got somewhere to go. I could do my makeup myself and I could beat face. That's what this is. But it's still natural. Still a natural beat face. And we're gonna go down our neck on this side. Notice we didn't even have enough product to do that on this side, and you guys will definitely see that once we continue to finish up the rest of this makeup look. Your neck and your face should never have like a very harsh line of where your makeup stops. You need to always be going down your neck. You need to dang near go right here, behind the ear a little bit, on the ear if your foundation is not the same exact color as you. Although we added more product, it's not cakey. This is not a cakey foundation. It can get cakey, but also, when we used our primer, that helped give us a very smooth canvas. It looks very smooth and seamless over here. This side, not saying it doesn't, but you can see more texture, you can see more pores. Girl, I got a new camera too. I got a new camera. So you can also see like all of that heightened. So on the left side, we're gonna continue with using that lighter concealer, because that's what I'm seeing. People are using concealer that is too light, and then are also using too much product. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and create like a whole triangle, right? And like I said, if this was 2010, girl, I can see why you're doing this, but it's not. And we also are not going for a makeup look that is super heavily concealed. You want it to be natural. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna put some there. Do I see people putting it anywhere else? No, not really. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna put that concealer there. And I'm gonna also go ahead and apply my concealer that is my skin tone to the right side. And for this one, we're just gonna go ahead and do a little bit here in the inner corner, and then we're gonna go ahead and do a little bit on the outer corner to essentially lift the face. And because it's me and I like to, you know, enhance other features, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna apply a little bit underneath where my contour is going to lay shortly. And I'm gonna also apply some to my chin and then my forehead. And again, I'm only doing this on the right side because this is what we're seeing. That's what we need to be doing. Okay, so for the left side, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna use this fluffy brush. And I'm gonna use this fluffy brush because I see people using this kind of brush. And not to say that you can't. If you actually see my Back to the Beauty Basics series, I showed you guys ideal makeup brushes for certain parts of the face. But I also told you could use whatever brush you want to, as long as you can, you know, work with it. This is what I'm seeing. It's just very heavily centered in this circular motion. It's not fanning out, it's not fanning down. The edges are not as like soft as they could be. And this is what y'all doing. This is what people are doing. And again, no shade, no shade. If you like it, I love it. But I don't think this is what the goal is. I'm gonna go ahead and use this brush, but the reason I'm using this brush is because it is very much dense. It has a very good amount of bristle that's going to evenly spread out that concealer, but it's also gonna keep it contained. And the reason we wanna keep it contained is because it's targeted. We're trying to target specific areas to highlight. And I'm gonna just come down, and as you guys seen, I also took this part back. I'm pressing it into place, but I'm taking it back to the hairline. That's gonna give our makeup a facelift kind of vibe to it. So obviously you never want to like do this panda situation over here because it's not going to flatter the face, especially if your face is a little bit more rounder. That's not going to like make it look any more like less round. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to also blend out the concealer here. Again, this is going to be to help define my contour, and I'm using a color that is like my skin tone. So it's not directly the same color as the foundation, but it's going to be a very seamless and natural looking highlight. It's not gonna be too crazy. Now we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna hop into contour. So one of the things that I see is that when applying contour, and this is your first time, some people are intimidated by the contour. And so they're not adding enough. They're doing that. And you know, again, to each their own, but I definitely think you should have a definition happening with your contour. And the only way for that to happen is if you're applying enough product. So we're gonna go ahead and we're going to go down the side of the nose. We also hit our forehead and our chin area because we applied lighter colors, but we also need to apply those shadows to make it more defined and to just make it look more natural. So what I do see is people dragging their contour down. I don't know why. And again, there's not enough product here for that, but they're dragging that contour down. And that kind of defeats the purpose of what the contour is there for. The contour is to create a shadow and to just give the face more structure back. And I see people dragging it down and just kind of painting with a paintbrush. You're really trying to keep the products in place. And this just essentially just got rid of all of that product. On this side here, we're gonna go ahead and we're going to stamp into the contour. And that's going to not only allow our contour to blend out nice and seamlessly, it's going to allow it to stay in place and actually do what the contour came to do. And that is to define those cheekbones. And I am going to go ahead and take this all the way to the front and then go back. And as you guys remember, we applied the concealer underneath. We're going ahead to just kind of go over that. So that way there's not a harsh line where the concealer and the contour meet. On the chin, And here is a little bit different. You can absolutely move this placement out because you want it to like snatch that lower chin. If you have a double chin, that's what this is for, to define it, but then to also place a shadow on where like that extra neck is. So that way, when you look at it, it doesn't look like there's extra neck. There's just a shadow there, you know? Hit the hairline. Now the reason we're hitting the hairline is because we added concealer up here. If you have a bigger forehead, this is going to kind of give the illusion that it's a little bit smaller than what it is. And then on the side of the nose, we're going to again stamp into place and blend out that contour. So I'm gonna take that brush that we used to blend out our foundation, and I'm just gonna go ahead and go over where that concealer and contour are meeting, so that way there is no harsh line, because that is something you do not want, is a harsh line of where your products are stopping and meeting. As you guys can see, it's very obvious that this side here, it's just lacking that love and that attention, and this side here is just nicely blended. Everyone's getting along, the girls aren't fighting, the girls are having a tussle over here. That's not what we came here for. That is not what this crew is all about. So from here, I am going to go ahead and I'm going to apply a liquid or cream blush. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna use this one by Danessa Myricks. And I'm gonna use this on my finger because it's one of those products you need to warm up. And for my right side, I'm gonna go all the way back. I'm gonna apply it on the apples of my cheeks, and I'm gonna go backwards. And I'm laying this pretty much where I laid the contour, but on top of that. On this side, I am seeing that people are a little bit intimidated by using blush. Blush is scary, but blush is so necessary. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm just gonna add some right here to the apple of my cheek, because that's all I'm seeing. And it's giving clown, right? It's giving clown, especially with that lighter concealer. This is not cute. First, I'm gonna blend out this side because obviously there's not a lot of product here. We don't wanna add too much product, but this is what I am seeing. Just right there at the tip of the apple of the cheek. And again, to each their own. If you like it, I love it. But on this side, we're gonna go ahead and we're going to blend this all the way out, and you're just gonna see how like vibrant and how life filled that made our face look. As we move on to our next step, I'm gonna start off with showing you guys what I see happening, and which is so just, it breaks my heart. And I'm gonna be using my Fenty Beauty banana powder to showcase this side. This powder is so opaque. It's one of those powders that's so fine, but it definitely lets you know that it was there. So I'm seeing people dip into their powders and not dust the powder off. As much as you might think that that does not matter, oh my gosh, it is so important. So I'm seeing people grab powder and then they're just going in and they're adding all the powder to their face. They're also baking with the powder. So we're gonna go ahead and we're going to do what I see people do and bake with this powder. You know how I use the concealer to go ahead and lighten up underneath my contour? Well, they're just doing that with the powder, baby. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna do the same thing that I see people doing and just going ham with their face powder. So much. And the smell of this, y'all already know how I feel about the smell of this. On the opposite side, we're going to go ahead and we're gonna use a translucent powder. This is my favorite powder. This is the Laura Mercier. And this comes in colors as well, but I really just love the translucent. Okay, I'm gonna dip into this powder and see, it's not even. It's not evenly displaced. I'm gonna go over my hand and I'm going to take off all those clusters. I'm going to even it out so that it looks like this. Nope, looks like this. And I'm going to tap this powder into my face. Now, a lot of people have a lot of reservations about translucent powders and just really can't fathom that it doesn't leave a flashback. It literally doesn't, but a lot of people will argue you down, girl, that it does. And I'm here to tell you it does not. I swear by this. Again, I'm gonna tap off the excess, even it out, and I'm going to go underneath my contour that I set my forehead. I am pressing this powder all the way in. There is no, in my opinion, there is no need to just have your powder sitting on your face. Like, y'all, watch the travesty that this turns into over here. But like, look how seamless and just flawless this entire side became because I'm pressing in the powders. And you don't have to use this kind of powder. You can use a actual pressed powder like this to go ahead and set everything as well. So what I'm not seeing is when people put that contour on this side of the face, set that contour. They're good. They're doing this powder thing right here where they're like, you gonna see this contour. So on this side, I'm going to set my contour. I'm using an angled brush. If you guys can tell, this is an angled brush. And I like this brush because it hugs the cheekbones and it also hugging all those bones in the face, which are those areas that we're essentially, you know, adding the contour to. So it just kind of makes things a little bit easier. And I'm also gonna go ahead and set the contour on my nose because we placed some there as well. On this side of the face is that people are not setting their face with a face powder. Some people are just brushing this off and calling this a day. Setting your face with a powder that is your skin tone just makes it that much more natural. It makes it that much more effortless and flawless, and it just brings everything together in unison. So I go not only on my cheeks and all the areas that I actually added foundation, but I also go over the areas that I concealed, that I contoured, and I just bring all of those things together and marry them into one. So that way it looks like one face, but seamless. Okay, so let's go ahead and brush this bake off because I just know that this is just gonna be way too much. And this is what I'm seeing. I'm seeing people brush off the bake, and as you guys can see, there is just particles and product flying in the air because we didn't pat any off. We just went straight in with all the product in the world, and we just thought it was gonna be cute, and it's just very much ghostly. This is giving ghost, and it's so funny because, like I said, people have this reservation about translucent setting powder, but like y'all can't even see that. This over here is giving Tommy the Clown. I didn't even evenly spread the product on the poof when I was applying it, so there's some areas that just are a little bit more powdery and more covered than the others. So I'm just gonna try my hardest to brush off as much as I can, but again, that is why you always want to press out your powders, make it even before you apply it to the skin, because whatever you laying down is gonna stick in that fashion, which is not, this is not ideal. And we're going to apply our blush. As we applied our blush going backwards, we're going to apply the powder blush in the same way. So we're gonna go ahead and pick up some blush and we're going to go back. Then on the opposite side, we're just gonna place it where we placed that blush, right there on the apple of our cheek. Girl, that is so ugly. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh. One of the things that I am definitely noticing that I think is a very crucial part of why the powdery makeup look and why the skin doesn't give skin is simply the setting sprays. I think we're not setting enough on this side. I'm gonna take the MAC Fix Plus and I'm gonna just, okay. I'm just gonna go once. Ooh, I got my hair wet. And then I'm gonna go on this side and I'm gonna go like, everybody mama calling right now. Saturate this side. And the reason I'm saturating it is because all of those powders that we applied are gonna marry together and it's going to like melt into one. But I'm also going to take my Charlotte Tilbury setting spray and this is going to lock everything. So lock it in place. You're not locking this side. They're not locking this side over here. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna let this dry really quickly and I'll be back to show you guys what your makeup is looking like, but what it can look like. Alrighty guys, and here is the finished look. So this entire side is so day and night compared to this one. And again, this video was just me giving my tips and my opinions on how you should be doing your makeup. I know you can tell the difference. I know you see it. These are the girls in the club that's taking pictures in the dark with that flashback. This is not that. This is going to give you that very natural makeup look, but it's also gonna look like seamless. It's gonna look like skin. That's what this is going to give you. And I hope no one took offense. If you were doing anything that was like, you know, portrayed on this side over here, don't take offense to it. This is just me sharing my tips on how you can make your makeup look even better, take it to the next step, and just enhance your game a little bit. So I really hope that this resonated with someone, if not all of you out there. We all can, you know, take tips and tricks. So I really do hope that this helped at least a few people out there. But I hope you guys enjoyed watching today's video. I'm so excited to have been able to finally create this for you guys. I actually filmed this already and I just didn't like how it turned out. So I'm very happy with how it looks today because it shows the true difference. But I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, please make sure to give it a big thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe to my channel if you are not. I do post, oh my gosh, Tuesday and Friday. But if you can't remember that, just go ahead and hit that notification bell. That way you will get notified every time I post a new video. Make sure to follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. and on my website, l.co.com. I will link all of those down below so that way you can easily click and follow. So I need to announce this giveaway because I mentioned it a few videos back and we've hit 800 subscribers for some time now, but I've been gone. So we're going to be doing a 800 subscriber giveaway for me to show appreciation and gratitude for you guys for subscribing to my channel, for supporting my channel, and just being here with me even in my absence. So please make sure to head over to l.co.com and subscribe to my emailing list. If you're already subscribed, you're already entered. And I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna pick, I would pick 8, but that's a lot. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to pick 3 winners for this giveaway. So please make sure you are subscribed to my emailing list. Again, head over to l.co.com, enter your email, and that's it. And you will be entered into all the giveaways going forward. So it's a win-win. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I hope you guys are excited about the giveaway, and I hope that I was able to teach and help somebody out there. And if that was you, please go down to the comment section and let me know, because that means I need to do more content like this. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you guys in my next video.